Hello, welcome to another wiki procedure on how to obtain a yellow fever certificate in Kenya. Below here, we have given you a link which will lead you to a wiki procedure page where we have given detailed information on how to go about with the procedure. We have given you links to health facilities, contacts to health facilities, their locations where you can go and have the yellow fever vaccine. You can have the shot. We have given you links to sample documents on how the certificate looks like. We have given you even information on the countries which are considered endemic, which are considered yellow fever endemic, where you have to acquire a shot if you're traveling to or if you're traveling from. So we are going to visit those sites and the documents in the course of the presentation. The list of items you're going to cover in this session include the need of the yellow fever certificate, eligibility, required documents, steps to follow while making the applications, the applicable fees, the validity period of the yellow fever certificate, the processing time, offices and contacts, and other relevant information. So welcome to another wiki procedure brought to you by wikiprocedure.com. Okay, the need of a yellow fever certificate. The certificate is needed as proof that you have received the yellow fever vaccination. If you're traveling from a yellow fever endemic country, the Kenyan government will require you to produce a yellow fever certificate before you enter into the country. Number 3, if you leave Kenya for another country, chances are that you will be required to produce a yellow fever certificate, as Kenya is listed as one of the yellow fever endemic countries. Number 4, if you're planning to travel to an area in Kenya where you may be at risk of the yellow fever, you need to get vaccinated before going to the trip. So apart from giving you a leeway in international travel, the certificate is for your own benefit. So the vaccination helps prevent you from getting the yellow fever disease. So let's move on. The eligibility of obtaining a yellow fever certificate. Any person entering or leaving Kenya above 9 months of age must be in possession of a valid certificate of vaccination against yellow fever. Number 2, individuals who are in airport transit for more than 12 hours need to have a yellow fever certificate in Kenya. And people who are exempted from producing a yellow fever certificate are as follows. Number 1, infants below 6 months of age. Any person suffering from chronic illness and has poor resistance and is therefore exempted from being vaccinated. Okay. Crew members and passengers of an aircraft transiting through an airport located in a yellow fever infected area are also exempted, provided the health officer is satisfied that the persons remain within the airport premises during their period of stay. Okay, let's move on. The required documents which you need for you to obtain these yellow fever certificates are: you need your proof of identification. This can be your national identity card or your passport or your birth certificate for people under 18 years of age. You also need health records. This can be proof that you've already had the certificate, you already had the vaccination, or maybe you are suffering from chronic illness and you are exempted from getting the vaccination. So you need health records to prove you are eligible for exemption. Let's move on. Steps to follow. So first of all, you have mentioned some few points here that you need to know that yellow fever is preventable by a safe and effective vaccine, and the yellow fever vaccination is one of the mandatory requirements when traveling to some parts of the world. International regulations require proof of yellow fever vaccination for travel to and from countries which are classified as yellow fever endemic. And one is issued with the yellow fever certificate after receiving the yellow fever vaccination. We are going to look at how these certificates look like. They are actually a yellow booklet. We are going to see how they look like. The next slide. So the procedure is as follows. One needs to apply in person because you need to get the vaccine in person. One needs to get the vaccination a minimum of 10 days before travel. Otherwise, you'll be refused to board. This is because the vaccination needs 10 days to mature. So you need to go and get the vaccination early, 10 days before the date which you plan to travel. You can get the vaccination from any Ministry of Health port public health offices at border entry points, seaports and airports. At any ports in Kenya, there are usually the Ministry of Public Health offices where they offer the services where you can receive the vaccination shot, and a fee of 2,500 is charged for the vaccine. And if you're in Nairobi, you can go to the City Hall and to receive your vaccine. You can actually contact them and make an appointment in advance, or you can also just walk in and get the vaccination shot. The process is that simple, and a fee of 2,500 is also charged for the vaccine. One can also get the vaccination at approved private hospitals, as well as hospitals and clinics run by county governments. The cost of vaccination may vary between the private hospitals and county clinics. I need to note that private hospitals charge almost twice the cost offered by public clinics and public hospitals. And it takes a few minutes to get the injection and receive your certificate, approximately 30 minutes from my experience. Once you get the injection, you are given a small yellow booklet, and that booklet is the yellow fever certificate. Side note, you need to keep it next to your passport and other travel document, because it's proof that you've adhered to all the international travel requirements. A sample of the yellow fever certificate can be seen through this link. I have gone ahead. Yeah, the certificate kind of looks like this, but I've given the link also to in the wiki procedure website.com sample documents. You can scroll down to the sample document section, and you can see the certificate and the waiver. The waiver looks something like this, and the certificate looks something like that. So let's get back to our program. So the fees, as we already mentioned, is 2,500 in government institutions, and the private hospital charges usually vary, and the costs are usually higher than the fees charged by government institutions. And the validity period of the yellow fever vaccine, it's valid for a lifetime. But first, it becomes valid after 10 days after the vaccination, because the vaccine has to mature. And the vaccine has a lifetime validity. However, some countries may require you to renew your vaccination before entry. Okay, the processing time for the certificate is usually 1 day, so the cards are usually given immediately you've received the shot. So you have to wait. However, in some cases you have to wait for the certificate for 30 minutes. It takes a few minutes to get the injection and receive your certificate. So here are some contacts where you can call and to get further information where you can receive your shots and vaccines. And other information is that travelers coming into Kenya from endemic countries are expected to possess a valid yellow fever vaccination certificate. And it's unfortunate that Kenya is also one of those countries, and we have to get a yellow fever vaccination certificate before we travel outside our country. This list may be, and the list of the endemic countries may be updated according to the World Health Organization on which country they consider to be endemic. We have also provided a link down here. Here, Travel Health. It will show you the list of countries which are considered to be endemic and which countries are not. So that's it. I say thank you for watching, and I urge you to go to our wikiprocedure.com YouTube page where you can see and more procedures, and go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Subscribe and like our videos. We have many videos detailing many procedures. And thank you for watching this. It has been a pleasure. Thank you for watching wikiprocedure.com.